Alright, now we're back to where we started, kind of. Alright, so we got our gear, we marked it so we know which way is up. Goes in there like that. Always like putting a little bit of oil between the teeth here. That helps lubricate it. Kind of like primes it. Okay, now we got this here. We'll go ahead and put this together. The gasket's already in there on the other piece. Okay, rotate the gear just a little bit so it engages. There, went through the gasket. Squeeze it. Okay, that part's assembled now. Give it a good squeeze. Then the gasket will hold itself together on all the surfaces. This pump is doweled, which makes it really easy. On the later pumps, all this stuff can keep wiggling around on you, which makes it a little bit harder. So being doweled helps you a little bit. Okay, this appears to be rotating a lot more freer than it was before, which is a big plus. Okay. So now I want to put the dowel over here where I can get to it. Or not the dowel, excuse me, the keyway. So I can put the key in there. So here's our key. It's a real small key here, so it's hard to deal with it. Just barely get a hold of it a little bit. Doesn't want to go in the groove. There we go, kind of. It's kind of in the groove, but not where it needs to be. It's probably why this thing doesn't want to go on. It's pretty tight on that groove. Okay, it's in there now. So you want to have it like that. Now you take some oil and put in there. Put a fair amount in there would be nice. There we go. Oh, too much. Oh well. Okay, this is the one with the keyway in it. I'm not sure which side I had it going in before. Doesn't want to go in. Oil's everywhere because I put too much oil in there now. See if I can soak up some of this oil. Not really. Okay, the key basically just rolled right over on me because it doesn't want to go in. So this is the one that's been fighting me the whole time. It's not getting any easier. It just rolls over, falls out. See, it won't go in, but it'll fall out real easy. Typical pain in the ass deal. Get some of this oil in other places right now. I got way too much oil. See, we knew this was going to fight, and it is. Why would it not? It's been doing it the whole time, so trying to lose it there. No reason not to keep fighting. I went a little bit easier that time. Problem is you cannot tell where the key is, so I'm going to put the key straight up. The key is straight up right now. Put the groove straight up. Go in until you feel it kind of wiggle a little bit. Feels like it's on it. When you push in, it should go right over it. But of course, this one's not going to do that because it doesn't want to. Doesn't want to do anything. I'm going to do my screwdriver out. Okay, I'm going to use my picking tool here to try to put some pressure on the back side to put it in, but this is a little bit too big to really go in here. Oh, look at that, it went in. That went in real easy once it decided to go in. That was pretty nice, actually. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put the 2 split keys in here. So that's in there all the way right now. I got the pump up here, I can slide it with my other finger. Okay, the sharp side goes up. I like putting it over the key so the key can't fall out. There it goes. There's the other one. Oop. Okay, we can see it. And you push down on it. Doesn't want to go in all the way. Tap on it lightly, support it from the bottom here, and tap down. It's all the way in now. Make sure it rotates, it does. Okay, now we take the other gear, put some more oil in here. Make sure it's on the shaft, so when you put it in, the shaft's not dry. It'll just drop in as you rotate it here in the bottom under here. Make sure it rotates freely all the way around, both directions. Appears to be working good. Okay, I can live with that. Okay, clean that off a little bit with the oil I got on there. Okay. My things are getting all oily now. Put a little bit more sealer right where I wiped it off. And nobody's here to work the camera. Okay, right there's where I wiped it. Okay, we're going to use bolts because that's what he wanted to do. There's 4 of the 5. There's the 5th one. There's our bolts. Stock, they had studs in the case. You put nuts on there, but bolts are fine too. Quarter drive ratchet with 7/16. Okay, we need a little screen, which is floating around someplace. Used to be down in here. This is in the way. Screen's not here, so it's got to be out here someplace. What the hell is that? Don't know. Making a mess over here. There's the screen right there. Okay, this goes right in here. Easy, just sits in there like that. If you have to put some grease in there, fine, do it. Make sure it's below the surface here on both sides, so the pump will just slide right in. If it binds up, then the screen's too far down or too far up, you just have to rotate a little bit. It sits inside that cavity right in there. You can see the groove in there. It's way below the surface. It should go right through. Okay. I don't have to time the pump because I took the gear out. So we're just going to slip the whole pump in. Okay, we already got our cover over here. I'll go ahead and put a couple bolts in here, at least one for alignment. Make sure you put this on correctly. See, it doesn't match this way. It matches this way. And once it sticks, it should stick, so try to get the bolts in there quickly so everything stays aligned like you want it to be. See, this one here, the gaskets don't line up, so you got to force it through a little bit. As long as it's all assembled, you won't tear the gasket doing that. Okay, so this one's ready to go together now. I'm going to rotate it so the hole's over here where it belongs. So this is already gooped up, and this is already, we didn't goop up this side, but I don't think we gooped it up, did we? Yeah, I don't remember. Doesn't feel like it. I don't remember. We can always goop it if we want a little bit. Can't remember if I did it already or not. There you go on the screen again. Okay, right now the bolts are in the way. Pick it up, the bolts will fall out. Quick lap around the surface here. There you go. So if I didn't goop it before, it's gooped now. So the gasket's already gooped, so I didn't really need to do that, but whatever. Okay, now this is ready to go in. We just slip it in. If the screen's out of the way, it should go straight in. Just like that. Once you get the thread lined up one of them, then you can get them all lined up. Get them all started first. This engine stands in my way. Lower bolt doesn't want to go in. There it goes. It kept trying to cross thread, so I pulled out, keep going back and forth. I finally found the sweet spot where it goes in. If I just put a wrench on and started forcing, it would cross thread all the way and might break the bolt off before it was tight. Okay. So once you get all the bolts in there a little ways, like we do now, they're all started, and I can go ahead and push it all the way up, like that. You can have a little bit of wiggle room right in here in the clearance. So if you have any clearance issues or anything, and make this time to get a little extra clearance. So in this case, I go up a little bit so I got more clearance here on the switch. So I just pull up just a little bit and leave it at that point. We only got a few thou, it's not like we got a lot to play with there. We tighten down the center one. That must be a 1/2 inch. Helps to get the right socket. Okay, just put light tension on it, and then we go to the work our way around the bolt pattern here. Stupid stand's in the way right now. Just tighten the radial pattern. Okay, I got a little bit of torque on it now. I couldn't find my good wrench, but this one will work. So I'll put a little torque on these. A box wrench you can do a little better on. So you put a little force. You're going to have to figure out how much torque you want to use, but you do want to make them tight. It doesn't hurt to go back over again and make sure that you do have them tight. Gaskets do squeeze up a little bit. Use your same bolt pattern as you go around. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is how I was doing it. You can do a different combination if you want. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I always like doing this one first, preferably, but you can go from here to here to here to there to there, or you can go from here, there, 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 Doesn't matter as long as you work on the OD. You start in the middle and work it out. It doesn't really matter, really. Okay, now you want to take your oil pump and see if it'll rotate. So I hope you can see that. So you want to make sure it'll move. Appears to be moving by hand, so that's a good sign. I can feel the gas, one of the gaskets in there just a little bit when I first started and went away quickly. Okay, so now we got our motor sitting here where that needs to be. We can rotate the crank over here to our known good spot, which was right about there. It had this black spot that was pretty close to where we needed it to be. So that should put me pretty close to where I need to be. I come over here and put the gear on upside down. Normally this goes to the inside, this is toward the gear. See how it's got a timing mark on there and everything? I don't know why you put a timing mark on there, but they do. In our case, it wants to go backwards. So you got a big spline and 3 small splines. 1, 2, 3 small, 1 big one on top. So you just got to do it like that. Okay, now as this goes down, it's going to rotate this. So you back it up 1, 2, push it down. See we're too far. Come back up. Skip another tooth, go down. That went too far. Go back up again. Go back 1. Rotate it in. Now we're right on the money. Make sure this is all the way up. It's going to rotate up anyway usually. And there's a lot of inplay in it. Jeez. It's going to find its own place it wants to be. Okay. Under normal load, this thing's going to go all the way up. It's going to find its sweet spot in there, wherever it wants to be. Okay, so right now where we want to be, I'm not sure if the time mark is exactly where I want it, so it's time to pick the motor up now. And we'll take a look. All this junk out of the way. Okay. So there's our spot. There's our spot right there. And there's our hole right there. Pretty damn close. Okay, last thing I want to do is rotate this to make sure it goes. See how it goes? You go backwards, see how it comes off? So you got to turn it backwards direction, keep the gear on. Make sure it turns freely. Appears to be good. Okay, so that means it's time to put the pinion gear back on, which is this part. And we're going to lightly beat that on with a socket. Grab a fairly big socket. It's a 13/16. You can either use a plastic hammer or a steel hammer, just light hits is what matters. Here where it hits out, it's done. If you hit it too hard, it'll bend the crank, so light hits doesn't affect it. Okay, now you can run it, turn it the regular direction because we're not, the gear's staying on at this point. So we can rotate it correct direction now. See how it works nice and freely. If you want to double check your work, which never hurts to do, there's the hole at. I guess that's the hole there. It's dark over here. Yep. There's our hole. There's the hole right there. Okay, now you hold the crank, rotate it around. There should be a timing hole mark right there. Yeah, not quite there. It's right there. It's off about ½ an inch off from being dead center. So go back around. We're holding the rod. And I don't know if you can see in there, but the hole is where it is. The camera want to move. There's the hole. It's just slightly forward of center. Toward that way, which is our better way of being. So that's because we're ½ inch off up on the timing mark. But that's okay. That's where we want to be. Alright, let me get all this cleaned up. We'll come back and do all the cams.